I lied. I lied. I tell people who want self-confidence to celebrate their wins. You achieved something. Even the smallest goal, even the smallest victory, celebrate it, soak it in, enjoy it. Really just celebrate it, and then you'll be so happy and you'll feel so good about yourself, and it will perpetuate further victories and goal setting, and then you'll feel good about how good you are, and then you'll just become a winner. I'm going to confess that I maybe have never really celebrated any of my wins. I just don't understand what it means. Like, I did something, I had a goal, and I succeeded in reaching that goal. That could even be as big as writing a book or many books. And now the job was done. Like, what does it mean to celebrate that goal? Celebrate that victory? Like, is this celebration going to make me feel better about myself than I already felt before? Did the reaching the goal prove something to me that I didn't believe before? Whatever goal I attempt reaching or I set myself, I really believe I could do it. I know I could do it. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm not surprised when I reach my goal. I'm like, duh. Yeah, what else was going to happen? If I really wanted something, it's going to get done. It may be a matter of how much time, how many, detours we have to take, how many times we have to try differently, because you know what? Sometimes we make mistakes. We learn on the way. But at the end of the day, if I put my mind to something, it's over. It's going to happen. That goal will be achieved. And that's what I see before I even succeed. I see the goal completed. I see the book in my hand. I see whatever I want to do done. It's just a matter of time till it manifests itself in reality. So then, to me, achieving the goal didn't surprise me. It just happened to be something that manifested in reality, but before, the goal was already achieved in my mind. Like, I'm not trying to sound haughty. Like, I'm just giving you like a glimpse into the way I process reality and I process my life. Like, I'm not here to try to tell people not to celebrate their victories, but it's like, I just don't understand. Like, I guess I understand it intellectually. What I mean is I don't understand it, how it's relevant to me. I just don't get what it means to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, let me give you an example, okay? I wrote a bunch of books, and someone came over to me one time and said, "Oh, how many did you write in this series already?" Because there's a lot. And I looked at him and I said, "I never counted. That book that I just wrote is done. I'm looking forward to the next book. Why would I ever count the amount of books I wrote in the past?" Like, I can understand. Like, I've been writing since I was 21. And I wrote many, many, many works. And I have never once took the book in my hand and said, "Wow, I'm so proud of you. Wow, let's celebrate this. Let's go out for dinner." Like, it's just another day in the office, whether I'm working on the book or the book is done. And to be honest with you, I enjoy the process of writing more than the result of having a book out. Like, I honestly don't enjoy that day where I send the final draft to my printer to print the book. Like, I don't like that. I don't want the final product because, yeah, the only reason I want the final product is because now I could share my thoughts with other people. Now I can give the book to my son, my kids, and they could read it. And now I could, share my thoughts with the world. But for me to be happy about the end result of finishing the book, I cannot relate to that. I love the process of creating the book. I love the process of researching, just straining my brain to come up with ideas and thoughts and craft the book or my writing. And for me, that's more enjoyable than the product of a book. If I just wanted the product, I would never write. I never do anything that I just want the product of. I mean, yes, we want the product of things and we appreciate the product, but for me, what I get involved with is stuff that I love doing for the doing of it. I love the process. I gravitate to things that I love the process. Video creation, like so many people are just so, they're so engulfed in that 1 million mark, in that goal of, monetization or, getting a certain amount of subscribers. And they're just doing it for that. For me, I look forward to making videos for the video, for the process of what it takes me to make the video. I love getting up, sitting in front of my laptop, and collecting my thoughts, and researching and reading, and coming up with video ideas, crafting the idea, thinking about it, working on it, sculpting it. That's what I love. The fact that I have a video, okay, it's a byproduct of doing what I love to do, and there's value in the video that I find that I could share my thoughts instead of just sitting in a room and thinking about these things. I could share them with others. But I love the process. I love the journey more than I love the destination, because once you get there, so then the journey's over. And like, you loved it. You loved the journey so much. Like, and this is something I never understood. Like, celebrating the victories. I don't think it's a lack of self-love. I just think when you have a specific mind where you're just always on to the next, you don't need a pat on the back for what you did. I have never in my life grew from someone giving me a pat on the back. I remember I was in a park with my kids when they were much younger. And, they were on the swings or whatever it was. And then we went off to the basketball court. And there was a team that was playing, probably a high school team or something. And there was a coach there with the team. And this coach spoke to these basketball players in a way which I never heard a human being speak to another person. He was giving to them on their head. He was completely ripping them. And I heard what he said. And all I could think about was, wow, I wish I had someone like that. I wish I had someone giving it over to me with a hammer on my head. I wish that someone just talked that way to me, because that's how I grow. I don't get intimidated by it. It doesn't bother me. I love it because I want to get to the next level. To me, a pat on the back, I already pat myself on the back. I don't need a pat on the back. I don't even pat myself on the back. I'm at a place within myself, and what I meant to say is I don't pat myself on the back. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't celebrate my victories, because why do I need to pat myself on the back if I'm already in a state where I'm healthy? I feel like I'm good with myself. I don't feel inferior. I don't feel like I'm lacking. I don't feel like I'm less than, that I need a pat on the back, that I need someone to come and give me this boost. Like, yeah, we all need motivation sometimes, but I'm not saying I'm a robot, but I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to explain that when we are at a specific state of mind where you're going to conquer whatever you set out to, and you have total belief in yourself, and your capabilities, and you're going to achieve that goal because you're never gonna stop. No matter how many times you have to pivot, if you really want it, you're never gonna stop. So then if you know yourself and you know you're never going to stop, the goal, you smell it already. You see it already before it was done. So then it doesn't need to be celebrated because there's nothing new when it actually happens. I hope I'm explaining myself the right way. Like, it's like a duh moment. Like, everyone else looks and sees, oh, you wrote another book. Like, oh man, that's so amazing. Like, how did you do it? How long? Like, people always ask me, how long did it take you to write the book? Like, people are obsessed with how long did it take you to write the book? And when I tell them that it didn't take long, they're like, but how'd you do that? And then I tell them, okay, it took me, let's say, a month to write this book, but it took me 10 years of hard work to be able to write a book in a month. And people they don't understand that. But to me, you see the process. You see what you had to do to get there. You see relentless learning, studying your craft, getting better at it, never giving up. And then you're like, duh. Like, what'd you think? The book wasn't going to get written? Like, was there another option? Like, if I said to myself, I'm doing it, what is the other option but to do it? So when you're operating in that mindset, the idea of celebrating a victory, it just doesn't make sense. I can't explain it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like if you thought you're going to get a 70 on a test, and then it happened to be that the teacher asked only the questions that you knew and you got 100, you're going to celebrate because you did more than you expected. You outperformed yourself, right? So that's a cause for celebration. But if you just got a 70, what are you celebrating? Like, okay, you thought you were going to get a 70 because that's what you deserve, and you got a 70. So, like, you don't celebrate that. Like, to me, it's like, okay, if I write a book and it was 150 pages, to me, why am I celebrating a book that was 150 pages? The book should have been longer. I should have been able to write more. I had a deadline. If I would have wasted less time, I would have had time to write more. So to me, the book was supposed to be 300 pages. I only did 150. And I'm celebrating? I see the pages that weren't written. Everyone else sees the pages that I did write. I don't celebrate because the book could have been longer and better and just at a higher level. I always could have operated at a higher level. And I see that level that I could have operated as. That's in front of my eyes because I'm truthful to myself. And now that it's all said and done, everyone else is like, celebrate, because all they see is what they see. But they don't realize what I left on the table. And I always feel, what did I leave on the table? Because if I don't look at what I left at the table on the table, what's going to make the next thing I do more important, better? What's going to up my game? If I only look at what I did, it's not even like I decide. Like, I'm not sitting here deciding what I want to look at. I'm just telling you what I think. I already feel good with myself. Why do I need to make myself feel good by accomplishing something that I knew I was going to, because I know who I am, and I know that if I say I'm going to do something, it's going to get done somehow. So I'm not saying people shouldn't celebrate their victories. If that's something that makes sense to you, and if that's something that builds your self-confidence and builds your self-esteem and increases your motivation to go further, by all means, I really think that that's a good way to go forward. And I've said that many times in the past to many people when people want to know how to build self-confidence. And it's a good way to go forward. But you just have to realize that there are people that don't understand what that means. They could be happy that they accomplished something. They could, but it's a different type of happiness. It's just like a duh. Yeah, I'm happy. It's good. It's over. But now what? Like, I'm celebrating it and it's over? Like, this just was one stepping stone to get to the next level. And now I'm better at what I do, so now I can perform better next time. It's really a future-focused vision at what is the next mountain I'm going to conquer, what's the next goal, what's the next project, as opposed to looking back at what's already done. It's done. It's over. Why am I looking back at it? It's like you either have the ability to look forward or back. You can't look at both at the same time. By looking back, you are not looking forward. You can't. Your eyes go in one direction. So to me, if I'm going to look back and celebrate this victory and like just like really engulf in it and I don't know what, so then at that moment, like I'm not looking forward and I don't understand what it means to look back. I mean, maybe a few times a year where someone's down, they could go look back and be like, oh, you know what? I still got it. Like, but as a way of life is forward. You accomplished. Now what? What's the next step? What's gonna be the next project? What's the next goal? And that's why, to me, celebrating a victory, I don't see what the grounds are for that, to me. But you could throw a party. Everyone does what's good for them, and that's the beauty of self-help, self-growth. There is no cookie-cutter answer or way for anyone. And that's really the message. A lot of times you're going to hear advice that just doesn't make sense to you. And really, if you take that advice, it could be from a guru or someone like really, really who knows what they're talking about, an expert in their field. If you take that advice, you're going to end up under the ground. You're going to lose all your edge. You're not going to be as efficient or whatever. But for someone else, that's what they need to hear. So the smart person, the person with wisdom, the person who really understands what he should listen to, it's because he understands himself. And he is understanding what advice does he need to hear. He doesn't just open up YouTube and search for self-help or, read any book. Some books, one person can read them and break from them. Another person can read them and be like, yeah, that's what I needed to hear. And you have to be truthful to yourself, to look within and say, what do I need to hear? What's going to actually make me perform better? What's going to bring my game up? Do I need that pat on the back? And if you do, it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's what you need. Be true to yourself, get the pat on the back, and then go forward afterwards. If you don't want the pat on the back because you know the pat on the back puts you in a place where you're not going to perform as much, because instead of the pat on the back, you need someone to go and say, next, what's the next project? I remember I was in the room, my friend came in, and he's a total, he's the most successful person I know. This guy, forget about it. Like, he's really once in a lifetime friend, where he's just, it's like any motivational book or speech you ever heard about, he's in the embodiment of that. Like, for real, not just in theory. And I remember he was in the room when I was sending that document to the printer. And I told him, I pressed send, and I said, hey, the book's in. And the first thing he asked me, what's the next project? And that's my language. I don't need someone to say, good job, Ronan, look at you. I already live with good job. I am good job. I am good. I need the friend. I need the guy to tell me what's the next deal, what's the next project, what's the next book, where are you going? Because if you're going to look back, you're going to crash into the wall. You got to look forward and keep climbing that mountain. That's what I'm trying to say. That one book is not the summit of the mountain that now you can look back down. That book is just another step on that mountain. What am I looking down for now? I didn't get anywhere. Okay, so I took one more step. You celebrate that? No, you get to the summit. But in life, there is no summit. Because even when you're at the summit, there's something more to go to. There's a higher level to strive to. So be true to yourself. Understand everyone else as well. Sometimes the advice you're going to give people is going to make them crash and burn. I'm not here to tell you not to celebrate your victories, because I realize that if a lot of people would take that advice, they would collapse. That's not good advice for them. I was just sharing a little bit of, how I felt and stuff that I've been thinking about lately. So it's good if you need to celebrate your victories, do it and gain self-confidence. If you're not that type of guy, so then when people do pat on your back, you know what? Just disregard it if it's not good for you and just go forward. The people who don't need it don't even need to listen to this video. But I'm just trying to say, I wanted to just speak about this point because I think it's important that we are true to the information, to the advice that we need based on who we are. And the only time you could really know if this piece of information or advice is good for you is when you really, really know who you are and you're truthful to who you are and you're not intimidated or scared to confront who you really are and what you need to listen to and what you need to hear and what will actually help you. Because not everything is for everyone, and that's really self-growth. It starts with the self, knowing where you are so you can take the next step. If you're not going to be honest with who you are, where you are, you won't even know the next step because you don't even know where you are to take that step to or from. So that's what I have today. You will get another video tomorrow, for sure, no question.